What's going on, everybody? This is DC Wrestling back out again with another video. So I was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan, who was one of the best, if not the best commentator, when it comes to the UFC, when it comes to MMA. But he had a very special guest on his show this past week, The Undertaker, Mark Calloway. If you haven't seen this interview, I highly recommend you go see it. This was a really cool, amazing interview. The Undertaker, just talking about his retirement, talking about, his wrestling career and yada, yada, yada. But the one big takeaway I want to talk about, um, The Undertaker during his podcast was that he basically called out the wrestling business. Joe Rogan asked The Undertaker, like, do you still watch the current product, like WWE basically? And Undertaker was like, yeah, sorta, but it's like hard for me to get into it. Basically calling, like I said, calling this current WWE product soft and everything. And he says that it's not really edgy enough. Like, it's not edgy enough. And you know, it was more of him, like, I guess, like criticizing WWE for that. And to be honest, I absolutely agree with The Undertaker. Uh, the reason what made the Attitude Era so great back in the day was that it was edgy and it was edgy and stuff like that, and you know it was able to bring that casual fan in. Like, they did hardcore wicked shit. You know what I'm saying? With today's wrestling, with WWE, they one of the main, like hardships that a lot of fans hate about WWE nowadays is that their audience they cater toward. And if you notice WWE for the past few years, their audience would cater towards kids, like a kids audience, like a family audience. When they went from TV 14 to PG, so that's been one of the main shit about WWE. I think even Dave Batista said a few years ago about how much he cannot stand the PG era, which I don't blame him. And yeah, man, I think that what makes wrestling cool, it has to be edgy and not, family friend entertainment, because, you not only do adults want to see that, but even kids, kids want to see some edgy stuff too, they just don't want to see all this childish BS all the time. They want to see that, edgy product. And if I think that the WWE can go back to being edgy, get rid of this PG format, then maybe their product can get just a little bit better. But I've been also saying this. They gotta build up the stars, and you know even if it becomes edgy again, they still got to build up and create new stars. So, yeah, man. So I don't blame the Undertaker for saying what he said, and I don't blame him for not saying that he doesn't watch the product, because it really is hard to watch the product. I mean, why do you think again? Why do you think I don't do raw reviews? Because I can't sit through a 3 hour show. Now there'll be probably some points in the show where I'll be like, oh, this happened and this happened, but overall, the entire show, I'm not going to really do one. And at least with SmackDown, I'm able to get through it. So, yeah, man. So that's it, man. So I don't blame the Undertaker for saying what he said. There's many people who used to be wrestling fans, that used to watch wrestling, but now if you probably ask them, hey, do you still watch the current product? They'll be like, I don't really watch the current product. I don't watch WWE anymore. Stuff like that. So this just want to be a short video. And yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, what were your thoughts on the Undertaker's comments on the Joe Rogan podcast? Do you think he went a little bit too overboard, or do you think that what he was saying is true? Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and yeah.